What's up, Vikings Nation? Skol to everyone locked in right now, because even though the season is over, the Minnesota Vikings news cycle never sleeps. While most of the league is already in off-season mode, there's a lot happening behind the scenes that could shape the future of this team. Here's the teaser you need to hear. While fans are catching their breath, Vikings coaches are already grinding at elite college showcase events. Draft buzz is heating up, and a potential first-round surprise is starting to turn heads across the NFL. So stick with me because we're breaking down how the Vikings are quietly positioning themselves for the 2026 NFL Draft, and why the next few weeks matter way more than most fans realize. The Vikings now find themselves in the same position as most of the league, reflecting on the 2025 season and mapping out how to get better. It's evaluation season, and every decision made now can ripple into next fall. This is the phase where front offices separate good teams from great ones. Film study, player development, and draft preparation all collide, and Minnesota is clearly wasting no time. The question is simple but powerful. How do the Vikings turn lessons from 2025 into real improvements for 2026? While players may be resting, several Vikings coaches are still very much in coaching mode. 3 assistants are taking part in prestigious college all-star games, giving Minnesota a front-row seat to some of the best draft prospects in the country. Darren Montgomery is heading to the East-West Shrine Bowl, while Ryan Cordell and Patrick Hill will represent the Vikings at the Senior Bowl. These are not ceremonial roles, these are hands-on, high-responsibility assignments. For Vikings fans, this is exciting, because it means Minnesota coaches are directly shaping, evaluating, and bonding with future NFL talent. Let's start with the East-West Shrine Bowl, the longest-running college all-star game in the nation. This event takes place in Frisco, Texas, and it has a long history of showcasing hidden gems. In 2025, several players connected to the Vikings appeared in this game, including edge rushers Tyler Batty and Chaz Chambliss, quarterback Max Brosmer, offensive lineman Joe Huber, and tight end Ben Urosek. That familiarity matters because it shows the Vikings already value this pipeline, and now they're doubling down by sending one of their own coaches to lead. Darren Montgomery, the Vikings' offensive quality control coach, will be coaching the East team's running backs. This marks his 4th season with Minnesota, and this assignment speaks volumes about how the organization views his development. Working directly with college prospects allows Montgomery to evaluate not just talent, but mindset, coachability, and work ethic. For the Vikings, this is early scouting combined with relationship building, and that's a massive advantage when draft season arrives. Now let's shift to the Senior Bowl, one of the most important events on the entire draft calendar. The 77th Senior Bowl kicks off in Mobile, Alabama, and runs through January 31st. More than 130 hand-picked players from across the country will compete, practice, and interview with NFL personnel. This is where draft boards truly begin to take shape. And yes, the Vikings will be right in the middle of it. Ryan Cordell, the Vikings game management coordinator and passing game specialist, will serve as the quarterback's coach for the national team. This is his 4th season with Minnesota and his 12th year in the NFL. That level of experience makes him a perfect fit for guiding college quarterbacks through pro-style concepts. For Vikings fans, this is especially interesting when you think about the team's long-term plans at quarterback. On the defensive side, Patrick Hill will coach the defensive line for the American team. This past season marked his 3rd year with the Vikings and his first as assistant outside linebackers coach. Hill's background includes several college coaching stops before joining the NFL ranks in 2023, making him uniquely suited for this role. This is another example of the Vikings trusting their assistants with major responsibilities on a national stage. This isn't the first time Minnesota has leaned into these opportunities. In previous years, the Vikings sent coaches like Durant Jones, J. Albury Sr., and Michael Hutchings to the Senior Bowl as part of the coach-up format. That program is designed to give assistants more leadership and evaluation duties, and it's paid off. Jones is now interviewing for NFL defensive coordinator roles. Hutchings became the defensive coordinator at Cal Berkeley, and Albury just completed his 6th season with the Vikings. Practices for the Senior Bowl will run from January 27th through 29 at South Alabama's Hancock Whitney Stadium. These sessions are often more valuable than the game itself. NFL scouts and coaches closely watch how players absorb coaching, respond to corrections, and compete against top-tier talent. For the Vikings, this is a critical evaluation window as the 2026 NFL Draft comes into focus. The Senior Bowl has long been one of the most reliable draft evaluation tools in league history. Minnesota's track record here is impressive. The Vikings have selected at least one Senior Bowl participant in nearly every draft since the event began, with only a few exceptions decades ago. Recent picks include wide receiver Ty Felton, kicker Will Reichard, and defensive back Jay Ward. Proof that Minnesota consistently finds value in mobile. Looking further back, some Vikings legends also passed through the Senior Bowl. Hall of Famers like Randall McDaniel and Chris Dolman both showcased their talents there before becoming franchise icons. That history adds weight to every rep taken during Senior Bowl week. When Vikings coaches are on the field, they're not just watching prospects. They're potentially scouting future cornerstones. NFL.com draft analyst Eric Edholm recently highlighted key themes among this year's Senior Bowl prospects. His focus included quarterback headliners, strong defensive line depth, and a diverse wide receiver group. Those insights align perfectly with several areas the Vikings could explore in upcoming drafts. And with Minnesota coaches embedded in the action, those evaluations become even sharper. Cordell is expected to work with quarterbacks like Sawyer Robertson from Baylor, Diego Pavia from Vanderbilt, and Cole Payton from North Dakota State. These are players who may not all be first-rounders, but development matters, especially at the quarterback position. Watching how they respond to NFL coaching could shape future Vikings decisions. Patrick Hill's defensive line group is stacked with talent from major programs like Alabama, Michigan, LSU, Clemson, and Miami. Names like Tim Keenan III, Derek Moore, Akeem Masitter, and Jack Pyburn highlight the depth available in the trenches. Given Minnesota's constant focus on defensive pressure, this group is absolutely worth watching. Back at the Shrine Bowl, Darren Montgomery will lead a versatile group of running backs, including Chip Trayanum, Robert Henry Jr., and Navy's Eli Heidenreich, plus Michigan fullback Max Breedson. This group brings different styles, body types, and skill sets. For the Vikings, who value versatility on offense, these reps could be extremely telling. It's also important to note that Senior Bowl rosters are fluid. Players can be added late based on injuries, opt-outs, or last-minute invitations. That means Vikings coaches must stay flexible and ready to adapt their evaluations. Every new name is another opportunity to uncover value. VIKINGS.com will also have on-site coverage in mobile, bringing fans behind the scenes of Cordell's and Hill's experiences. That kind of access gives Vikings fans a rare look at how the team prepares long before draft weekend. And trust me, this insight matters when Mock Draft SCN arrives. Speaking of mock drafts, that time is almost here. In less than a week, Minnesota will begin rolling out its Mock Draft Tracker series. This project surveys draft experts across the internet to identify trends and buzz surrounding the Vikings' potential picks. If you love draft speculation, this is your moment. One of the most intriguing recent mocks comes from The Athletic's Dane Brugler. In his every first pick mock draft, Minnesota selects Oregon tight end Kenyon Sadiq with the 18th overall pick. That pick immediately sparked conversation, because tight end isn't an obvious need. But value sometimes overrides need, and Sadiq might be exactly that kind of prospect. Brugler describes Sadiq as a big, freaky athlete, with elite adjustment skills and a strong blocking mentality. NFL teams reportedly believe he has top 10 talent, which makes his availability at 18 extremely tempting. That's the kind of scenario that forces front offices to pause and think. Sadiq stands 6'3", weighs 245 pounds, and produced 80 catches for 892 yards and 11 touchdowns across 3 seasons at Oregon. In 2025 alone, he posted career highs with 51 receptions, 560 yards, and 8 touchdowns. Those numbers demand attention. During Oregon's college football playoff games, Sadiq added 9 catches, proving he could perform on the biggest stage. That playoff experience only strengthens his draft profile. And for the Vikings, upside like that is hard to ignore. Minnesota already has several tight ends under contract, including TJ Hawkinson, Josh Oliver, and Ben Urosek. That makes the pick feel non-traditional, but not impossible. Sometimes the smartest moves are the ones that surprise everyone. So Vikings fans, I want to hear from you. Would you take Kenyon Sadiq at 18 if he's still on the board? Or do you focus on another position? Do these coaching assignments at the Shrine Bowl and Senior Bowl make you more confident in Minnesota's draft process? Drop your thoughts in the comments, smash that like button, subscribe for non-stop Minnesota Vikings news, and share this with every Vikings fan you know. Skol!